Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 8, I think it is. Number 35, this is Storm Shadow, the figure that lots and lots of people have really been wanting from the G.I. Joe Classified Series line since it was introduced. Now, we've already gotten 2 Storm Shadow figures in the Classified Series line. Bam! The Amazon exclusive Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, and bam! The Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins movie Storm Shadow. One of them is pretty good. Well, they're both pretty good figures. They're not the ideal Storm Shadow. We wanted him in his white ninja outfit, and bam, there he is. So it is a very exciting time. It is not like the version that we all kind of thought we would get, like the Mortal Kombat style mask and the full sleeve tat on his left arm. We've gotten basically a classic Storm Shadow. There's a couple of things on here that I know some folks have given their feedback on. They're not fans of the gloves, for one. I think, well, that's probably the biggest one. But still a very cool looking figure nonetheless. We get some cool accessories in there, and I am very, very excited to see him. I will do the comparison again with the 2 Storm Shadow figures. I will compare him with the 2 Snake Eyes figures, the Alpha Commando and the number 2 release Snake Eyes. And then I will also do, somebody had requested how he was going to look next to the White Ranger. I think the whites are pretty close, but size wise they're a little bit different. And then last but not least is the Master of Disguise Zartan. Comes with the Storm Shadow head. I will pop that one on here because they are different head sculpts, so we'll see how they look. Might look pretty cool. But anyway, we'll get to it. Number 35, we got the Cobra logo there up at the top. Looking at the side of the package, we have the different insignias for Storm Shadow, and again, different packaging change. It is all plastic, or cardboard, excuse me. We don't have the plastic wraparound anymore. The plastic is just here on the window. Looking at the back of the package, they did update the artwork from what we had gotten originally. And I think the artwork on the back has gotten a couple of refreshes. This is the original, the OG, and then it updated later on to include the Cobra Island stuff. And now we have this new one, which then includes everything up until this point, including the Storm Shadow Spirit and the Cobra Officer figure. I guess that'd be the Cobra Officer figure. Could be Trooper. They're kind of all blend together a little bit. So that is the latest update to the packaging there. Artwork for Storm Shadow looking very cool on the side. Love the way it looks. But enough of that. Let's get this thing out of the package. Okay, so here is the Storm Shadow figure out of the package, and I'm really damn excited. This thing is freaking awesome. Holy shit. So all the accessories, with the exception of the hood, which, you know, of course, you can either have the hood on or the hood down option that we have here, but all of the accessories attaches right onto the figure. How freaking awesome is that? The swords go into the sheath, the extra arrow goes into the quiver, and then the bow attaches to the quiver. How freaking cool is that? That is really goddamn awesome. Such a really good looking figure. Now, I haven't really moved him around a whole lot. I haven't really had the chance because I just got the figure out of the package and then put all the accessories together, and this thing just pops and stands out. Holy crap, it just looks amazing. You just put it on the shelf just like this and it just looks menacing. It is freaking awesome. I think the weight has been well worth it and everything. It just looks really, really damn cool. Now, keep in mind some of the things. He's going to be a little bit back here because look at all the shit he's carrying around, right? So there is that. If I had any complaints on the figure, and it'd be nitpicky, is the hood attachment here. Because it's just kind of a loose, free, you know, it just sits there. It just kind of doesn't really look natural, and that's just going to be the nature of it. Now I'm going to pop the head off a little bit later, and I'm going to remove that piece, and we'll see how he looks just like that, because this is supposed to be, you know, with the hood down, and then you have the hood option on here. I think this is the same as the Arctic Mission one. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing. I mean, bare hands would have been cool, but the gloves I think still look pretty nice. But yeah, he just looks really damn awesome. So let's get in for a closer look. Let's take a look at the accessories, excuse me, and then we'll take a closer look at the Storm Shadow figure. But yeah, really, really damn good, and I think you guys are going to love it. Okay, so we brightened up here so we could take a closer look at the accessories, excuse me. But look at that. Look at how it just sits all in there together. So that is really cool. So the accessories that it comes with, again, he has the hood, and I will pop that hood on later to see exactly kind of how that looks with the hood on, but just here is everything pieced together, and it just ports onto his back. You have the shoulder strap there, so you just align that to meet up with the peg hole on his back. His belt, you get this additional like sash piece that kind of hangs over, and then you can swivel it around as much as you need depending on the pose that you have, so it's blowing in the wind type of deal. And that's actually really cool. One other complaint that I have, and I don't know how much it's going to come across on camera because I have it kind of bright here, is the belt is black. So the other part of his gi is they painted white. The white's obviously not going to match because you got a rubber versus a plastic, but on top of that is they're painted white over the black. So at some parts you could kind of see a little bit black kind of bleeding through, so it looks gray in some areas. Overall, I like the look of it, and I see what they were going for, but it does just kind of look a little funky. When you have it in hand and you really look closely, it's really not that big of a deal, but I do want to kind of point that out. But anyway, here we're going to take a look at the accessories. So here is everything together. So the bow, as you can see, there is a peg here. It's like a triangular shape peg that the bow clips into there. Get a little bit of red on the handle there. But here is the bow. I need to double check the Master of Disguise Zartan and see if it's the same bow. So on the next clip, I will confirm or deny if it is the same. And I think it's probably going to be, but it does look really good. Looking at the quiver there, we get the Arashikage logo there. Pretty nice. We have one loose arrow. As you can see, there is a little peg hole there, so you can port in the bow for safekeeping, and it just blends in there quite nicely, so I really like that. So you would actually be able to get him to take it out of the quiver and everything. It's done all in black with a little bit of red on the feathers on the end there to match with the arrows that do not remove their part of the sculpt in there. And then you have the two sheaths. When you get a longer sword and a shorter sword, and I know they have names, forgive me, I don't know what the names of the swords are, but the hilts are black, and then we get this nice silver paint for the blades themselves, and they look pretty good. They are the same, except one blade is longer than the other. But get this, on the hilt, which is really cool, those are actual snake heads on the ends. So how cool is that? That's a pretty nice little detail that they did on there. So looking at it, not bad. That is pretty cool. So those are the accessories and the hood and stuff and everything, of course. Let's get in for a closer look at Storm Shadow. Okay, so here is a closer look at Storm Shadow, and again, here you can see the hood, how it just kind of free floats there, and it like gets on top of the shoulder strap, and it just doesn't look as good because of how it kind of sticks up and everything. So unless you glued that down, but then you wouldn't have the option when it comes to the hood on, so that really kind of takes away from it. But the head sculpt looks really good. He looks pretty menacing. He's got some crazy ass eyebrows, yo. Crazy. And then you can actually see a scar over his left eye there. We get the Cobra logo there on his gi. We get the cut off shoulder sleeves, which looks pretty good. They sculpted in like the tears and the rips in there. Looks nice. We get this little bit of wash effect. It almost looks like it's printed on, but some coloring inside those gauntlet pieces. Looks like, you know, kind of some like wrist wraps on the inside of the gauntlet. We get that same coloring on the wraps around his ankles and shins, and then you have a nice clean shoe out of nowhere. So that looks a little funky, but you know, pretty good. Black for the soles, just all done in white. Again, the belt, we get a couple of pouches in there, but no paint or anything like that. But looking at the lower portion of the gi, you know, in some areas, I'm not sure if you're going to see it on camera, you can actually see some of the black coming through. And again, you could swivel this around all you want. Shoulder straps all black, but we get the Harukens. Is that the correct term? The shooting stars. Nice silver paint there. Silver paint for the buckle, and that is about it. Pinless elbows, pinless knees on this guy. Just looks really nice. But now let's kind of change up his look a little bit. So here is the hood down. Let's see how the hood up. The hooded look would look. You gotta be careful trying to pop that head off. So dumbbell joint. No neck hinge, so we're just going to remove that portion there. Let's see, I think it's going to be best to pop the head into the hood first, and then pop that head on there. So now there is the hooded look for Storm Shadow, and it's okay. I don't prefer it, but you know, it's definitely an option. But yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's kind of cool. But let's see how the head with the Master of Disguise Zartan looks on Storm Shadow. Okay, so let's swap it out, and then I don't know what I was thinking. It's a very different bow that comes with the Master of Disguise Zartan. That same bow came with the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, so that one is the same. This one is a brand new that we have not seen yet. But looking at the head sculpt that came with the Master of Disguise Zartan, the whites do match, so this works well with them. And again, they are different head sculpts. So let's pop this one off. Let's pop that on there, if it will pop on there. And unfortunately, it does not fit on there. It just swivels and wobbles around. Now I got to get this head sculpt out of this hood. And I can't. Here's the difficulties of working with this hood. There's very little wiggle room in there, but we'll just get the sword, pop that out, except you're not going to pop that out. How are you supposed to get this damn head sculpt out of there? You know, like squeeze it out. So there it is. I wasted a bunch of time doing that. So unfortunately, this does not work. I think it would actually look really good, but it just doesn't work. And the head might be a little big for the body, like a little wide, but you know, unfortunately, as you can see, a pretty big size difference when you compare the two. But both got some crazy ass eyebrows, right? So let's pop this head on there without like the hood piece that's down or anything. And I think this is a much better look. I wouldn't even worry about that hood piece. I think it looks a little funky, you know, with it just kind of sitting there. And that's just my opinion. But again, here's that head there. You guys let me know down in the comments below, which one do you think looks better? Do you prefer this one on this body, even though it doesn't actually peg in there? I mean, you could use sticky tack or something like that to get it to work. It's unfortunate they couldn't get the peg holes to match, but it is what it is. I'm kind of liking the one that came with the figure though. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. Now let's see Storm Shadow's articulation. Okay, so Storm Shadow, so that you saw the head is on a dumbbell joint, so no hinge, but you can get him to look up a fair amount. Getting him to look down isn't too much of a problem. He can look down a little bit, not all the way down. Full rotation in there. You get some crazy pivot because it's on a dumbbell joint. The neck itself can also swivel. It doesn't really pivot. It does somewhat, not a whole lot. So you can get all kinds of range of motion in his neck. The arm you can get to go straight out like so. There is a butterfly joint in there, so you can get the arm to go back a ways, and you can get it to come forward a little bit if you turn the shoulder ball and you want to do some crossbody. There's not a whole lot that you can actually get out of there, unfortunately. We have an upper bicep swivel in there. You get a double jointed elbow, which again is pinless, so you get that much bend at the elbow. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. The left hand is a vertical hinge, not the horizontal hinge that we see with most ones. And then right hand is actually the vertical hinge as well. Great for wielding swords, so that works out really well. We have an ab crunch here, so he can crunch forward this much. You can crunch back, excuse me, that much. So that is a crazy amount. It's unfortunate that the coming forward doesn't get that same range of motion there. We have a ball joint at the waist, so if you wanted to do some pivot, you could do very little to the left, very little to the right, but you do get a swivel at that waist with that ball joint there. Legs go this. Oh, I can't get that one to come. Legs go out full splits. Again, you do have the drop down with the G.I. Joe. Ooh, this leg doesn't want to cooperate with me. Careful there, but you do have the drop down, as you can see. Can kick forward very high. Ooh, careful. Leg goes back a little bit. You have an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed knee. And again, pinless knees. So you can get that much bend at the knee there. You do get a calf swivel in there. So full rotation. Foot hinges all the way down. You get some hinge up, but again, the foot really gets in the way of the shin. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So pretty good articulation for Storm Shadow. And speaking of Storm Shadow, let's see Storm Shadow with Storm Shadow and, yeah, you guessed it, Storm Shadow. Okay, and here we have our 3 Storm Shadow figures side by side by side, and without question, the new number 35 classic Storm Shadow figure is leaps and bounds better than the other 2. They just are. The Arctic Mission Storm Shadow one was okay, but I always felt the legs were kind of wonky and kind of how they looked and the coloring, and you know, everyone wanted classic Storm Shadow to be the first Storm Shadow figure, and it wasn't. And then the movie one, which has the potential to be a pretty good figure, the color is just so weird. You know, it's not as bad by itself, but then when you put them up against, you know, look at that, see which one is the best Storm Shadow figure, right? The most stable one that's not gonna fall. But when you look at, you know, the movie figure with the other Storm Shadow figures, you look at the color, you're like, damn, they just, what the hell were they doing? They went too far with it. If it matched like the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, like okay then, you know, not so bad. But they just went way too like beige, bone, tan color. By itself, again, not bad, but you know, you compare them to classic Storm Shadow, and there's just no, you can't compare them. We have a clear winner there. I don't know who exactly requested. I can't remember if this was on my Facebook page or if it was a comment on Instagram, but here is Storm Shadow next to the Power Rangers Lightning Collection White Ranger. The whites do not match. They're not far off, but I would say the White Ranger is more of a true white, whereas this, having the Storm Shadow figure next to it, I could see a little bit of a bone color, I guess. So it's not as white as the Power Rangers figure, but they are about the same height, if that helps. But you know, you get smaller proportions with the Power Rangers figure. Like his arms are significantly smaller, his legs are significantly smaller, even though the heads would be about the same size and they are the same height. Okay, so I only have one Red Ninja, but if you have an army of Red Ninjas and you have Storm Shadow with them, that could look pretty damn cool. And I'm sure when a lot more people are going to get their hands on the Storm Shadow figure, we'll probably see images like that when you have a bunch of the Red Ninjas with Storm Shadow. But here they are side by side, about the same height. Red Ninja, the hood of the Red Ninja might kind of make him a little bit taller, but Storm Shadow is definitely a little bit bulkier with thicker legs and bigger arms. And of course, Snake Eyes Storm Shadow. We have the 02 regular release Snake Eyes and the Alpha Commandos Snake Eyes. So these two are about the same height, whereas the Alpha Commandos is definitely a little bit taller. The ninja look of the regular number 2 release, as opposed to the Alpha Commando set, matches, you know, ninja to ninja, and those can look really, really nice together. Alpha Commandos version of Snake Eyes, it's cool, I like it, but this is kind of the iconic duo that I'm, you know, kind of been looking for and and love here, in my opinion. That's when I think Snake Eyes Storm Shadow, this is kind of how I would picture it there. And they look pretty damn awesome together. I'm gonna try and do something that I don't really normally do, but my buddy George, Plastic Addict, he requested that I do some poses for Storm Shadow. So I'm going to see if I can get Storm Shadow into some nice poses so I can take decent photos. Wish me luck. It's not my forte. It's not where my skill set is. I just like to have the figures and have fun. But posing and taking pictures, any kind of figure photography, it's not really my thing. But I'm going to try a couple of things here and we'll see how that works. But just so you can kind of see how they are together, it's really damn nice. Okay, this is a classic one that it's easy for me to kind of replicate, where he's holding his 2 swords out. There is not a super firm grip on either hand. They hold in there fair enough, but there's not too tight of a grip, which actually works out really well when putting the swords actually in his hands, where you don't have to like super pry the fingers out to get the swords in there. So that actually kind of works out pretty good. Okay, so getting him into an arrow firing position, you can see here. I had originally done it a different way, so the arrow sits on this side, which, you know, for me it just doesn't look as straight and didn't quite work as well. I had actually done the bow the other way around. So the arrow was on this side. The bow itself looks weird, but I feel like you can get it into a better pose. I actually filmed that clip, and then I deleted it, realizing I did it on the wrong side. But after doing this, I just feel like it looked a little bit more, or it felt better for the action figure to be holding the arrow and firing it, even though the bow itself did look a little off. But you can kind of do it a little bit, so, you know, making sure the elbow is up and getting and aiming. But that's kind of the best that I can do. I'm sure there's folks out there that are going to do much better than me. Okay, so I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I spent quite a bit of time. It's getting really late, but getting this figure into poses is fun. I'm just not very good at it, and it's difficult. This is probably the best that I'm going to be able to do. Not that it's even all that fantastic, but I kind of like the look of it. The two of them kind of going at it. It looks like, I think the way I had it set up, it looks like Snake Eyes is kind of on the offense and Storm Shadow's kind of on the defense here, but I think it looks pretty good. You know, seeing them go face to face head on is pretty awesome. So these two figures are really cool. Will we see a little bit more of a classic Snake Eyes? Of course. It's only going to be a matter of time before that happens, and when I think it does, it's going to be, you know, a really big deal. You know, we've had 3 Snake Eyes releases, 4 if you count the movie, but we know that Snake Eyes, though, they're going to keep bringing those figures out, of course. One of the most recognizable characters, especially when you hear his name. Lots of exciting things to come, I think, in the G.I. Joe Classified Series line. So I'm excited. This Storm Shadow figure is awesome, and could be my favorite figure out of the entire line so far. I like it even more than the Cobra Trooper figure that I really loved. This Storm Shadow figure is everything that I would have wanted in a Storm Shadow figure, and I'm extremely happy to have it. And I just love the way it looks. Everything about it is just so damn good. I love it. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of the Storm Shadow figure? Does it meet your expectations, or are you disappointed? Let me know in the comments below. I think it is fantastic. I love it. Can't wait for all of you guys to be able to get your hands on it and share in the excitement that I have there. But yeah, awesome looking figure. Love it. You guys let me know in the comments below your thoughts. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.